time for a look at the fintech space with Renita Young joining us here in studio, senior markets correspondent for the Schwab Network. Taking a look at PayPal. Some of the news here looks like they're doing something back with their roots, which is eBay.
Yes, they are. So their platform, which is the other one, Venmo, is actually going to be available to be checkout on eBay. Pardon me. Let's go back over. PayPal shares, they're lower today because the company is expanding into eBay's payment options right now. That's the news. But there's also some interesting recent announcements that are happening in the world of payments that is not such great news for PayPal, which is why shares are down today. But first, PayPal is adding Venmo, which is owned by, eBay is adding Venmo, which is owned by PayPal, to its payment options. And soon U.S. buyers will be able to pay with Venmo on eBay.com or the eBay apps. But on to the other recent announcements. This is where the big information comes in because it's getting extremely competitive in the payment space. Now, Apple recently added Affirm to its buy now, pay later options at checkout, and they don't necessarily expect a material impact on the finances anytime soon, but analysts say that it could strengthen their firm's competitive advantage in the buy now, pay later space versus the bigger ones like PayPal, like Klarna, like Afterpay. And then on Monday, Apple also announced they have a new tap to cash function on there where people will be able to send money through iPhones if they tap the iPhones together. And it's really been...
There's got to be some sort of like, I agree to do this function, right? Next thing you know, people are going to be tapping my phone
right,
and they're going to get all my monies.
I would imagine they have some sort of precautionary, something that, you know, allows you to accept or allows you to release cash, something that you have to allow. But that sounds extremely convenient, but it's just another stem, you know, in this whole competitive, you know, thing against PayPal. It's another thing that's making it very, very difficult for them. We have another thing going as well with MasterCard. Now, this is a longer-term competitive threat. They said by 2030, they would tokenize all credentials in Europe. That means that users would not need to type in their card information, but they could instead opt to pay through biometrics, like their fingerprint scanner. I don't know if you want MasterCard having your fingerprints. I certainly don't right now, but that seems to be the way where people are
Here's
heading.
my point. I'm generally, I would say, you know, I think it's kind of eerie, all of this stuff. But at this point, like, everyone's got your data. I'm not that flippant about it, but I don't know how do you keep it away? It's like it's out there.
It's true, but like if you get into the biometrics, I don't know.
If you have an iPhone though, they have your fingerprint. They have like every single one of my fingerprints.
They have your face print too.
Right.
And then you got to hope their CrowdStrike or their Cloudflare or whatever Palo Alto Networks is really keeping that secure. Because otherwise, it's just out there.
Point taken.
Give it all.
It's all out there anyway.
I think take it all. Whatever. Alexa can listen to me all day. I don't even mind any of my information being stolen. Just take it. But okay, I have a question as far as like the analysts are concerned with this, and I think we actually had for a quick minute we saw that payment. We sort of watched it on the visuals here, which was cool. I don't know how like the approval process that works, but I'm sure that there's some degree of like processes in place. You can't just like tap someone's phone and steal from them.
There's some degree.
You think so? As far as the analyst community is concerned, though, what are we seeing as far as some of this reaction? Because PayPal's having a brutal week, I will say. We're down another 2% today.
Yeah, well, talking about the tap to pay function, one analyst said that this could have more competitive overlap with Venmo than it could have with Cash App, even based off of the end user demographics. So it could also be based off of what they plan on doing with the data as well, and what more, you know, the functions can do too.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well. And we just watched it again. I could watch that all day long. I don't understand really how it works, but I do appreciate the fact that it is, I'd say, definitely insulating an Apple Pay type system, whereas PayPal, well, I've always made the argument they have the biggest merchant. I mean, like library, their merchant library is enormous. They've been around the longest. Yeah. It doesn't mean that they're going to be forever the dominant player in the space, as we know that it's one that moves in and moves out quickly. Venmo for a while was the only way I really knew how to, like, as far as like peer-to-peer payments goes, and now it does seem like Apple Pay is coming into the conversation.
Just another example of letting somebody else pioneer, innovate, prove a concept.
Take
and then
it.
they come in, and then also too, PayPal's Venmo is sort of like a social media network as well.
It
At the
is.
same point, the same way Spotify had that social dynamic to it.
Yeah.
Apple's all business. It's just like you want to listen to music or podcasts or whatever. Here, do it on our platform. You want to send money, you want to save money, buy things.
You don't
it's
have to see all your
business. Yeah,
friends.
there's no fun thing here. Although that can be a rabbit hole that you could spend some time on. You want to go through Venmo. I know a lot of people.
You
turn
want
it
to
off
learn
now.
some things about people. You
You'll
just
find some stuff. But if we could real quick, if we pull up that 5-year chart once again, because this is also the definition of a move coming back to on trend. You can see that sort of slight downtrend, huge COVID crypto boom and PayPal. And then it's like once that excitement wore off, it resumed back to kind of its general path. Its general path had been drifting lower. So it took 5 years or most of the last 5 years for this to play out. But it goes to show that when things are in that cutting edge space where all the excitement is, there's a chance that it doesn't last forever.
Absolutely.
So just another cautionary tale.
It's been all downhill from there. Totally.
It has been. It feels like it's been, you pull up that 5-year chart. Gosh, it makes this week look actually pretty not painful when you see the continued slide and the range we've been stuck in for the better part of the last 2 years. But we will leave it there. Great insight on the overall PayPal payment space. There's been a lot of news in that space this week, actually. But Renee Young, Senior Markets Correspondent.